And with me here today is John, and he's got some exciting news about some products I wish I had 30 years ago.
Hi there, my name's John. I've been in the collision industry for about 25 years. Everything from a technician to technical trainer, all the way to MSO work. And here I am now working with ProSpot, and it's been excellent so far.
So what are you going to show us today?
Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is, like you, I wish I had this when I was a technician. It's our Ergo Lift Assist. So what it does, it's basically designed for our spot welder to take the weight of the spot welding gun off the technician. So it enhances employee safety, durability. It attracts more people to work with our equipment. It's been going really, really positive for us.
So I know on some of the older equipment, they've got kind of, I'm going to say, the support arm gantry. So what's so different about this one?
So this one, we call that old type of system just a boom. It's a static boom, sometimes with a tool balancer, but it wasn't adjustable. It basically just kind of held the weight of the gun in certain situations. With the Ergo Lift Assist, you're able to lift it up a height of 9 feet and down to about 5 feet. So at 9 feet, it really helps when you're trying to get on a frame rack. There's so many new high roof vehicles out there, it's so common now. And then down to about 5 feet. So when the tailgate's open or trunk lid's on, you're still able to get underneath and weld your end panel at the bottom of the floor and everything like that. Super advantageous. The boom itself swings 180 degrees left and right, so you can literally come in between your bays, between two cars, and you're still able to swing off to the right and work on your thing, on your vehicle. Keeps all the weight away. Goes down 5 feet. You can get it through doorways still.
Right.
It's been excellent so far, and the ergonomics of it just takes the weight of the gun. As we know, spot weld guns, they're not getting lighter. They just keep the weight stays there. So this is a great tool for that.
Yeah, I know before we started here, I was sharing with you, 20 plus years ago, we had a PR-10 transgun unit that we wanted to take and do some welding on a vehicle, and we had the cab of the truck up on a twin post lift, and we took the transgun off of the PR-10 body and we put it on a transmission jack.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, it worked. It got the job done, but it was, it was less than ideal, but
yeah,
we did what we needed to do. And so I look at this and I think, wow, this really helps out a lot.
And I was a bit of a stubborn technician myself, so I just pick it up and just strong arm it all the way through. And now when I give demos and use this, I'm like, what was I thinking? This is amazing.
Yeah, I've got pains now that I wish I hadn't done some of the things I did before. So.
Fair enough. Another interesting thing about the tool, because of the wider base that we had to do, and because the boom doesn't articulate left, it's only the front arm, that we were able to make it so the welder itself can roll 360 degrees around the shop. So as you know, trying to park these things or move them, they'll follow you along, they'll carry on, crab walks through the shop basically. So that's been a huge advantage so far.
It's base weighted enough though that it's not going to trip over a little nut or a bolt on the floor?
It's designed everything with a wide base, so it's extremely stable.
Okay.
And it's been really, really well received because, as we know, positioning these things has always been a bit of a pain.
And I think some of the little things that interrupt workflow in the shop, getting that back strain, and next thing you know, I can't move as fast, or the technician's out of work for a few days because of something simple.
Agreed. The technician shortage is real. There's hard to get technicians. So if you can do anything to A, keep them healthy and keep them working, and B, attract new ones, or C, keep the ones you have. Yep. These are the things, the demands that we're getting from the industry, and I think we hit it a home run with this one for sure.
Very good.
So the other thing we want to talk about is our new C to XL adapter. This goes along with it. So the C to XL adapter, with the John Eagle lawsuit and all the other problems, the welding on roofs, the reason the glue and everything happens is because they're hard to weld. It was hard to get things that went around the roof rail. It was able to make the weld fit into gutter channels.
Right.
So we were able to design something that actually expands. So it's a larger C to XL adapter, so it goes around. But the interesting fact is one of the electrode drops away. So when you drop it away, you have 123 millimeter clearance to get around, and then set it back up, and you can make your weld. And it works in auto mode, so it's been really, really spectacular.
So the vehicle manufacturers, as they're spot welding these vehicles together, and we'll see it whenever we're disassembling the vehicles, where they do have access holes for certain areas where they spot welded at the factory, and we'll have to, or this gives us the opportunity to spot weld it back together.
Correct.
Where sometimes I'm kind of envisioning that upper roof structure and that upper roof rail, A pillar back to the C pillar, and some of that was always very difficult.
Very difficult to get to. Yeah, so this now gets in there, and you're able to do it in auto mode, which is unique as well. So we saw the demand with the hail. Like hail, we know hail growth just keeps growing bigger and bigger every year. Between Colorado, up where I'm from, up in Calgary, they've just been getting decimated with hail claims. And welding roofs on with proper OEM procedures, that's been one of the trickier repairs to do properly in the collision industry.
So what else do you have for us?
So another thing, just briefly, I will go back one. I forgot to mention on the ErgoLift Assist. So there's a fleet of i5 welders out there, and there's a fleet of i5S welders that have been existing out there. They are all upgradable to this ErgoLift Assist. You don't have to buy a new welder. We can do it. So basically, the kit includes a wider rear base with the new wheels for that, the actual ErgoLift itself. It's available on the i5 retro kit and i5S retro kit, and they're about an hour labor, reasonable to swap it over. So that's been really going well for us. So the people they're not missing out. They're able to add this. Another thing briefly is it's battery powered, and it's also the charger also works on 110. So we decided not to go through with a 3-phase power, because if you ever have to move this in the shop and have to lower the boom, going to find a 3-phase plug just to lower the boom down wouldn't be
right.
So it just runs off the same battery that we use in our rivet guns and all our other tools. So it's a 18-volt battery or 110 power.
Very nice.
So that was just a nice added little feature. And then the other thing, from this, we were just able to, brainstorm. We saw a bare ErgoLift Assist without the welder platform on it. We're like, there's a lot of uses for this. So, maybe outside of the collision industry, but I'll focus on the collision industry. We added a rivet bonding station to the ErgoLift, because that's another problem. You said the squeeze type resistance guns are very heavy. The SPR guns are getting heavy too.
Especially if I'm having to reach with it very much.
Constantly reaching upper levels, and then you start getting the larger arms on it gets very heavy. So by using this, you're able to offset the balance. Now we also have one of our newer rivet guns is a PR8, which is a heavier duty gun. So with that came heavier duty arms, which are heavier, stronger. So relieving the technician strain on this. And when I play around with it, whenever I use it, I'm like, man, same thing. It's just a thing. So in the future, any real handheld tool that is a repetitive motion will be able to do it. Same features, up 9 feet, down to 5. You can set a height, varying technician heights. We all know I'm a tall guy, short guy. You can adjust it to whatever you need. So it's been very, very good. The tool balancer just is a game changer, and the fact that when you get to use it, just how for the swing and the weight has been really, really strong.
Very nice.
Now, another thing we want to talk about is our aluminum dent pulling system. So we have something unique that I think is with a drawn arc system. We're able to use a key system that doesn't require gas and still uses the drawn arc. So it's been a great add-on.
So explain to me what drawn arc really means.
So drawn arc technology. So the traditional stud welders for aluminum, they'll be a capacitor discharge where it gets it basically just hits and gives it a shot of energy, melts the little tip of the stud, and burns it to the metal. Where a drawn arc technology, it'll actually weld the gun, and it actually pulls the key up ever so slightly as it's doing it, and it actually welds the key.
Okay, so that creates an arc as it lifts off of the panel.
Right, correct. And then you're able to put a row of keys on where you're allowed to use bridges and whatever, where it works out much better.
No shielding gas.
No shielding gas with this. I wish I knew the exact science behind it, but I'm a technician, and to me it's magic, and it works. It's incredible. And one of the problems with aluminum repairs we know is the smaller aluminum repairs. The smaller aluminum, when you get into big panels and you have to put the studs on, you're going to be very invasive.
Yep.
With our key system, the ground and the arc are right beside each other, so you don't have to remove as much paint. And it just works phenomenal for these 1 hour dents, 2 hour dents, the small aluminum that, you start putting keys on. It gets going. It's a great complement. You can mix it with our glue pull systems, our steel systems. It is capable of both steel and aluminum. I just really like to focus on the aluminum part because I haven't really worked with anything that was that easy. But yeah, so it'll go to our glue pull kits and everything. And as you know, all our kits are adaptable. They're hybrid. They all synergic with each other. They've shared bridges, so you can have aluminum, steel, and glue pull all in one cart, or you can have them separate.
Very good.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just go back to the I5S. I just want to discuss that. So for employee retention, one of the main problems with our trade, as you know, is the lack of technicians and technicians moving around. And what's happening from our point of view is when we get a good welder in the shop and you get a new technician come in, getting someone in to retrain that person just for the one guy, or that person not showing up for training,
Right.
and all these things. So what the nice thing about the i5S and our i4S is they have our instructional videos built right into the thing. They're extremely intuitive. So you can sit and watch videos on how to set them all up. So we find that it saves us from having to go back out and doing retrains. They're able to get what they need out of the machine at any given time. Which, I mean, as you've seen, the turnover is.
Yeah, that's always very handy. Point of use. I need to use this now.
Yeah.
But, oh, I forgot, or I'm just not familiar with it. And, hopefully out of that, they'll start to follow those instructions and then do some test welds.
Right.
And then once they gain confidence that they're getting the right end result, then they're proficient to move forward.
Yeah, and
Do the welds on the vehicle.
set it and go. You as a business owner can trust that they're able to do something using their equipment properly. Liability is a big issue in this trade. Retention, like these are all things that keep coming around.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but these machines also have recording and reporting capabilities.
Correct. So thank you for bringing that up. We are able to, with Wi-Fi connectivity, we're able to see the weld logs. So not only could you establish your weld logs for an insurance company or a liability reason, we can actually track that on our end. If there's a problem with the machine, you can send a report to us, and we're able to diagnose any issue that could be doing. Maybe it's a diode, maybe it's whatever. We can start seeing the patterns and diagnose it from afar.
Okay, and also one other thing that comes to mind for me is OEM weld schedules. You all have some programming about
Yeah, we
OEM.
come with all certain OEM pre-programmed things which are hard to find, and they're all set up in the machine. You basically can pick any recipe you need, or you just run it in auto mode as well. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the simplest, easiest machines to use.
Yeah.
Very intuitive. And then lastly, I just want to talk about our vacuum pull systems. So there's lots of systems out there that are like this right now, but I find we have a larger footprint, so we have a little bit better vacuum capability to the floor, I find it. And then we're working on a whole line of adapters. So we have an anchor plate now where, cars slide, even with some small pressure with glue pull or anything like that, shiny concrete floors with some body dust on them, they'll slide. So
Slippery.
we have an anchor plate to put down if you have for sliding vehicles. We can put it under the vehicle if you're doing any rear body panel alignment. So if we have an end panel off and that one rail, you got it on the measuring system, it's down 3-4 millimeters, you can push off it just to get it up that little bit. So just minor adjustments. We have a lever bar now, which is like a pogo stick equivalent, but it'll go and it'll mount onto the front. So while you have a secondary pull, if you have tension on your glue, but you got to make another little adjustment, you can use a lever bar off it.
Right.
And we'll be continuously adapting this. We're not gonna go crazy and try and create a 10-ton puller again. But we're trying to make tools that will go and help the technician. The speed on a vacuum pull versus deciding if you're going to rack a vehicle for a small thing.
So with the vacuum pull, I get the basic concept, but what are the requirements for the floor itself?
It's honestly, it has to have a fairly decent floor, but if there's a crack in the floor, asphalt, it'll still vacuum to the floor. Obviously, the more polished, smooth concrete will be the best, but the actual vacuum capability is actually quite staggering. We've done some demos on asphalt, done some stuff outside where people are like, oh my God,
Okay.
it works really good. So comes with a 1,200-pound winch, which is more than enough for any of these type of pulls.
Yeah.
Just basic, simple crank winch with a bear claw. Works good with our steel systems, aluminum keys, all our key systems, and our glue pull. It just coincides. It's just another great little accessory. And to me, it's a turn and burn thing. I don't want to rack this vehicle. I need to make a little pull on the taillight pocket. I need to glue pull, as we've seen as a trend. It's just been excellent.
We've got a rather light exterior panel,
You get it.
something that we need to move.
100%. And then one other thing I just want to touch on, we have two other things that didn't make the slide that we just came up with recently. We have a new EV lifting table, battery lifting table. It's capable of 3,300 pound lifting capacity. All cordless, so once it's unplugged, it's capable of up and down cycles for removing drivetrains,
And
batteries.
How far up does it go?
77 inches, I believe.
Okay.
It's quite high, and it is very robust. It's
Yeah, that's an important aspect of it
Yeah.
whenever you're doing that, because sometimes there's still things you need to get to under there, and having it go up high enough that you can have the vehicle up high enough becomes
Agreed.
an important piece that I'm not crouched down trying to get those last bolts and connectors and things like that.
Agreed, and the collision industry is changing. We're dropping motors. There's no more cutting holes in rails and fixing these things. We're removing motors, we're removing sections, we're removing drivetrains, we're packs, transmissions. So this is something we see in the future.
Right.
Like more and more, I think it's going to be more common. The batteries are going to be coming out, drivetrains are going to be coming out. We're seeing it more and more. And there's other industries that obviously use super heavy duty stuff as well that need help moving things around. And lastly, I just want to touch on, we got a really interesting cordless dent puller. We've seen a few, it's a battery-powered dent puller, and I've seen some other ones on the market over the years, and they weren't quite ready yet. And the one that we've got, the attachment, when you weld it on, it actually works really, really well. So it's just basically looks, like basically almost like a Sawzall body. And you basically put the electrode on, and it's one button, and away you go. We've got a mini slide hammer about 2 inches, or you can just pull a dent. So I think about my years of doing hail damage, where I had the whole upper rail and all the way down of all the 1 hour dents that were all over there, and you could just go in there and clean them all up and bang, bang, bang all the way along.
So I have to assume, because we don't have a picture of it here, do you all have one of those down
Yeah,
at the
we do at
down
the booth. You please come by and check it out.
And what about for folks that are not here at the show and they want to learn more about it?
Prospot.com. It'll be on the website. So this is, like I said, this has only been about 3 weeks since we've got launched this.
So if you've got one down there now, I want to go down and take a look at
Yeah,
it.
you got to come take a look at it. It works very good.
Very good. All right. Well, we're coming up on our time here. I appreciate you coming down and spending some time with us, John.
I appreciate you. This was excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much, and have a great show.